okay, there is something that I had here which was like a trend line, okay, which I had marked out. All right, so you can see that first touch, second touch, third touch, and now we are having most likely a fourth touch on gold. Okay, so we'll most likely be having price drop all the way from this zone. So you can see me right sell here, just like is there. Okay, so we may have price drop from the areas of the 4188 all the way to the areas of the 3969 ounce.
Hey peeps, AdmirFX right here. Welcome back to our usual weekly market forecast. So this is our weekly market forecast for the 13th to the 17th of July, which is the second trading week for the month of July. So if you're new to this channel, please do have to smash that subscribe button. Do have to watch the video to the end, because you are going to learn a thing or two, because we come on here week in, week out to project 500 to 1,000 pips into the future. So without further ado, let's get over to the business of the day. So we are getting started with XAUSD. For last week, XAUSD, this was actually the zones in which we're looking for XAUSD reaction from. You can see that sales right about there, and we wanted price to drop all the way to the downside, and we had a nice 1:2.2. okay, as you can see there. So you know, we always go for minimum 1:2, 1:3. So if you watch our weekly market forecast for last week and you took this trade, which most of you actually took this trade, and we're very grateful for me to drop in this nugget for them on the weekly market forecast. Okay, so this is why it's always important to watch our weekly market forecast all the way to the end. So this was a nice trade call, a nice 1:2.2 on XAUSD for last week. And moving forward, let's see how the weekly time frame closed. Let's see what we can look for here in the coming weeks. Okay, so here for last week closed with this bearish candle. So we are technically still very much bearish on XAUSD. All right, let's go to the daily time frame. All right, so here on the daily time frame, nothing much, a doji kind of candle. It looks like a hammer, but if you come here to the 4-hour time frame, this trend line still remains, guys. Okay, you remember this trend line that I drew like from 2-3 weeks ago. Okay, so you can see that foot bounce here. So we may have feed bounce all around here before price continuations to the downside. Okay, so this price is still very much bearish. So what we are looking for the coming weeks is first level price to react off these zones, which is this trend line, and our next target should be the 3965 ounce, and we can go all the way to the 3892 ounce to the downsides. Okay, we can only look for bearish trajectory unless if price breaks out here, replace this trend line and a push continuations. Okay, and if we want to go very conservative, the best conservative zone is a breakout of this 4228, between the 4228 and the 4195. okay, a retest again before you can go bullish. Okay, but I'm favoring the downsides of things. Okay, but I have to give you guys bullish and bearish scenarios. Okay, so that's it for gold. Up next is the DXY. Okay, so for last week we were looking for price to react off these zones, okay, like a sell buy scenarios, which we clearly had. But regardless, we had more of a range. So if you actually bought or sold from our two zones, you definitely might have made money for last week. Okay, so let's check the weekly time frame to see how price actually closed for last week. So we can see this weekly time frame is one of the more reason why I'm looking for price to go bullish. Okay, if you are my mentee, you know what we are doing or what we are looking for right about here. Okay, it's no rocket science. We can see price is giving us something like a head and shoulder. Okay, very nice head and shoulder, and this is the neckline of the head and shoulder. So it's a no-brainer that price should break here, which it has, a retest here, and price should be flying all the way to the upside. So I'm very keen about the bullishness, and if we are able to catch any bullishness from here, we'll be targeting our next zones, which is the 102. Okay, the 102 to the upsides. Okay, So this is a very strong kind of trade for us. So let's go to the daily time frame. I'll keep it at the daily time frame to reduce so much noise, okay, on price. Okay, so you can see price did what? Price broke out of this area. So this is clearly a retest, and now we have something like a double bottom wishing to form on that zone. And looking left, you can see this is a previous area of interest. Okay, is a previous area of interest. So all what you need to see is price break with this, which it has happened. So we are clearly looking for a nice bullishness. So if market opens, you can put your entries there, put your stops here, and you target your first level. The nice one is to 2, and you can go, which is the 101, and you can go all the way to 102, which is a nice 1:3 plus, okay, to the upside. So we are still very much bullish on the DXY. Up next is GBP/USD.
0.329, then you may have price go all the way to the upsides to the 1.134. Then you could have price break, retest, and a continuation to the upsides. Okay, so that's it for GBP/USD.
So for GBP/USD for last week, you can see GBP/USD price was somewhere around here. I gave you guys more like a two-way scenario because of how price hung. Okay, we were looking for price to break here, retest, and price to continue. You can see just the same lines in which I drew since last week. This is still it. Okay, even before market open. So this is what we're looking for last week. But regardless, this may be nullified at this point in time. Okay, so we actually predicted this into precision. So if you took the bullish side of things, you would definitely make money. Let's see how many pips that was. Okay, like over 100 pips of movement, though it wasn't kind of straightforward. Let's see, look at the weekly time frame. Okay, so price is back to this area, which is this range again, once again. So this is a little bit tricky. Okay, this is a little bit tricky. So for me, what I'll look for is a daily time frame confirmation. Okay, a daily time frame, which is a daily candle closure, would be what is going to make you understand if price is ready to buy or if price is ready to sell. But currently, regardless, looking left, you can see price is seated on the strong areas of interest, which price has been reacting for the longest. I'm going to also extend that like so. All right, and we can see the Friday candle close was more like the shooting star, this doji candle. So if this doji candle comes, like by Monday, we have a follow-up of a bearish engulfing candle to the downsides, or a 4-hour bearish engulfing candle. This would actually be a nice bearish trade to take from. Okay, typically I'm still favoring the downsides. Okay, I'm still very much favoring the downsides of things. So let's see how many pips that would be if you are selling from here to the first level. We should be having 130 pips drop, and if you go all the way down, we should be having over 150 pips, sorry, 270 pips plus of drop. Okay, so the best thing to do is go to your lower time frames, look for the best level areas like here. Okay, what we could be seeing in this case is you could have price create something like head and shoulder somewhere around here. All right, then you can take your entry from this left shoulder. All right, you can take your entry from this left shoulder, target your first level, okay, which is a 1.330, and you can go all the way to 1.319 to the downsides. Okay, so actually that is it for GBP/USD. Up next is Euro/USD. So for Euro/USD for last week, Euro/USD has been on a range just like the DXY. You can see USD has been on a range for like 2-3 weeks now. Okay, so and price is still hovering around these areas of interest, which is a very strong area for us. So let's go to the weekly time frame to see what price looks like on the weekly time frame. So price has clearly broken out of this range. All right, this bigger range on Euro/USD on the weekly time frame. So what we are looking for is this break, this retest, and we can see how price actually closed for last week with this little bearish doji candle. This is a very nice sign showing us that price will definitely drop, and if price drops, we should be seeing a drop all the way to the 1.148, okay, which is over how many pips? Let's check how many pips drop. Okay, over 300 pips drop, guys. All right, so you guys shouldn't be sleeping on these trades from next week, guys. So we should be expecting over 300 pips, all things being equal, from next week. Okay, so we already have this area of interest, which we have. Okay, all what we need to see is price to react off here, which we already have this bearish candle close for last week. So we target our first level, which is a 1.132. and we can go all the way to 1.1215 to the downsides. Okay, and if this level fails, price can be funny enough wanting to give us pullbacks into the 1.150, which will also match with this trend line, with this moving average, 50 moving average, coming all the way from the upside. So either of these two zones are still very much valid. Okay, still very much valid for Euro USD drop. Okay, so this first drop alone can give us over 130 pips plus, and if you take it from here, you can have over 180 pips and over 300 pips drop on Euro USD. Okay, so that's it for Euro USD. Up next is USD CHF.
This is already seated on these areas of interest. Okay, these strong areas of interest. So all what you need to see is a bullish engulfing candle to the upside. Then we can take our buys to our first level, which is a 0.8147, or then we can go as high as the 0.8232. Okay, so I'll keep it at that on USD CHF.
For USD CHF, just like I anticipated last week, I told you guys that we'll be having pullbacks. Okay, price reacting off here, and our next level target would be all the way to the upside. So that still remains. Okay, that still remains, and we had a second pullback around Friday. All right, but we had the first one on Monday itself. So if you took these buys, which some of you actually did, okay, and we're grateful that they were able to make money from this. So you can see here was Monday, which was the 6th. Then it was bullish till like Wednesday before we had that drop and a reconfirmation to that area. Okay, so let's look at the weekly time frame. So same thing. If you understand price correlation, you know that the same thing that is happening on the DXY is also replicating here. Okay, you can see price is clearing these areas, break, retest, and we are looking for that pump to the upside. So we'll keep it at the daily time frame. Okay, we'll keep it at the daily time frame. We can see we are still very much bullish. Okay, price is clearly reacting off these areas of interest. Remember, like I always tell you guys, price does what? Price moves in a wave. Okay, a series of highs, higher high, higher low, higher high, a new higher low created, and we're expecting price to create a new higher high all the way to the upsides. Okay, so our first level target here would be the 0.814, and we'll be going all the way to 0.822 to the upsides. Okay, so that's it for USD CHF. Last but not the least, USD JPY.
Bounce here, which that has already happened with that bullish engulfing candle, okay, or that doji candle rather, and we should be targeting the 162, and we can go for our next level, which is about a 164 to the upsides. Okay,
for USD JPY was one of the trades in which we took last week. Okay, and you can also see this was the trade in which we used for our last week thumbnail. All right, so price gave us that precision. We predicted this into precision when market open. I told you guys you can buy from there, and you can see our level still remains same. Okay, because we are expecting price to be continuously being bullish. Okay, so nothing different from what we did last week. Okay, we may have price come back to these levels again, or where price currently is seated. Okay, price may start moving from here, but all what we need to see is price pullback, which we already have, and our first level target, which is 100% retracement level 162, and we can go all the way to 164 to the upsides. Okay, so that's it for this week, guys. If you have watched this video to this very moment, congratulations, and do well to drop some fire emoji if you feel what we are doing. And always remember to plan your trades and trade your plan. If you are not on a free Telegram community, click on the link on the description to join our free Telegram community. There we host free live sessions and send free trade calls too. Okay, so see you guys in the inner circle. Cheers.